There we go. All right, you got me for the final stint. And I think we also have Mr. Brian here. So it's been a long um, race so far, and we're about to go green for stint 4 of the Bathurst 1000. Unfortunately, we were doing 162 laps because I made a mistake in stint 2, but well, yeah, what do you do? So, but other than that, I think we're all ready to go. Everyone knows where they are, and we're ready to go. But joining me in the com box, I do have It's Racing, but he's just ducked out to go to the toilet or something like that. But we also have
I'm back now.
Brian. He's back. Okay, he's back. But yeah. So we've also got Brian in here as well. So welcome, gents. Might make my life a bit easier because I've got to currently finish eating my chicken burger that I've had sitting here for an hour and a half.
Good afternoon, mate. Good afternoon, everyone. Exciting race so far. Seems a bit like an It's Racing Esports benefit with the team picking up all 3 stints so far, but longest stint of the entire race, the final 60 laps. Where, as DJ said, we will be going to 162 laps instead of 161, but I suppose 1 lap too many is better than 1 lap not enough.
Yeah, I think he's ducked off to watch his, finish his dinner, so we'll carry on without him. But yeah, been a strong performance so far from the 95 and the 34. Unfortunately, probably a bit of an error there from the officials' call there, probably robbing Brady McForehead of a win, although there's probably a few others that could claim that as well. Looks like we're getting close to starting the final race now, so we'll kick things off and get this final stint underway. 60 laps left in the race. Of course, one of them being under safety car at least. I'm sure we'll expect many more to be under the safety car as well as things start to heat up in the late stages of this race. So field getting underway. Venti driving the safety car carefully, putting between the 2 rows of cars. Certainly doing it a lot more carefully than I did in the practice lobby with the It's Racing crew last night while they were practicing the starts, and DJ and Matt were seated on the grid. I may have threaded the needle at about 200 kilometres an hour right between them.
200 k's. It was more like 260. You scared the living crap out of me. I don't know how you didn't hit us, but yeah, no, it was done well there. But apologies as well from everyone in stewards and admin and stuff like that to Ratty McForehead. The penalty was wrongly given out to him, but penalty is served. I guess you can't kind of really change what happened. So we've relegated car number 32 to the back because it was actually Ando 787 who caused that big pile up on the end there, which I think, thankfully for me, it kind of worked out in my favour. But yeah, it's never good to see any cars go out like that, so I do apologise for that, and a bit unfortunate there for the 2 satellite cars, but I guess racing's racing, and that kind of stuff happens.
And probably one thing to point out from all this, it's probably better to do it now at this stage of the race. Sometimes maybe we do get it wrong, but there is 60 laps for them to recover from it and fight back into a strong position rather than copping it post-race and never having the chance to recover. So I'm not sure if we can just quickly cycle through the field here before we go back green flag racing. We've got EBM Brandosa. He'll be leading off the field for the restart. It'll be 59 laps to go. Defending Bathurst 1000 champion Diswood won in the CP Motorsports Honda in position number 2. Mint Matt, our pole sitter for today's race, he'll be looking to go one better than last year when he finished second. He'll be in 3rd place. Then we have Diswood's teammate Dram 50 in 4th. Then we have Loudy Dark Mist in the Robo Sport Racing Nissan in the top 5. Viper Z sitting in 7th place in the sister Satellite Racing Nissan. And then we have Ratty McForehead, our lead Mash Floods racing driver at this stage. He'll be in 7th. Then we've got TTV Bite Roses in 8th place. PLE Wiseacre in 9th. Aussie Hypnotic rounding out top 10 in the second WRT Motorsport entry. And then we've got another defending Bathurst 1000 champion. We've actually two-time defending champion in Speedy Tyres. He's looking for a three-peat this time around. He's back in 12th, but still very much in it. Then we have Lurox 22, and then N-Spud P666. He will be the last car on the lead lap, and then the bands will be a lap down for this restart as we head back racing. So Brandosa coming out the final corner, and we're back underway. So 59 laps to go here in this race. It's Brandosa leading away from Diswood, and then Mint Matt in 3rd. So Honda 1, 2, 3, 4 at this stage.
And I think they're the only Hondas in the field too. They're currently up the pointy end as well.
Oh, you can't forget the WRT cars. Hondas as
Oh,
well,
yes,
so.
I did forget them. My apologies to my apologies to Warpath. I did forget that they're in a Honda now.
Yeah, sometimes you can be used to the norm of what we've had for the last year and a half, and yeah, sometimes it takes a while to adjust. I can give you a pass on that one.
Yeah, and obviously they were replacing a Nissan team as well, which is why I think I got a bit confused there. But not too bad of a start here. It's good that no one got there, but I think Lurox actually got engine damage on that start, so it should have technically been.
In the pits already, so that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like Venti is coming back out. Probably was a bit late to do that, to be honest.
No, Ratty McForehead's got engine damage.
Okay, so Ratty's down in 11th. He's got damage.
I think I see Aussie's got front, Wiseacre's got front, and Loudy's got front. So I think it may have been a bit of a kerfuffle there of the dirty air, because I can tell you that much from doing what would be just over 500 Ks. It's not ideal at all in that dirty air. So a bit unfortunate there for Ratty, obviously having that pit lane penalty, but I wouldn't rule him out, mate. The amount of speed that he had in Stint 3 was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so Ratty McForehead obviously heading back to the pits. Brandosa leading the way from Diswood 1 and Mint Matt, so positions have stayed the same amongst the first 4 cars. And then we have Viper Z in 5th and Speedy Tyres sitting in 6th place. So they've made their way up the field, and Spud back up to 7th early on. So you could nearly say that the penalty that they had really hasn't taken much effect anyway.
Yeah.
Lap, they're pretty well back to where they were.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it is a long race and anything can happen, and the walls say your name a lot around this place, because I hit the wall about 5 times last stint and it wasn't very ideal. But yeah, I think, you know, the mountain safety cars breed safety cars, and I guess that's what kind of happened. But we had a pretty good stint in that stint 3 there. It was a lot of green flag running and stuff like that. Yeah, it's, you know, penalties are served and dealt. You know, we're kind of acting on the fly a little bit here. You know, I could say, I guess, you know, inexperienced in some ways. You know, we're starting to have incidents that kind of don't really happen or have happened previously as well. So again, we do apologise for that, but I guess we're just, you know, going with what we can and just going with the flow and hoping to try and please everyone. Think that
one thing to note under the safety car is that the bands will now be eligible to drop to the back. So he's on the lead lap, and that's what he's doing right now. So he's on the lead lap in the screen, he was classed as a lap down at the start of his stint, so he'll drop to the back and that'll be counted as a wave round. And so he will be back on the lead lap now and in the fight for the race result here.
Yeah, because obviously we did have that massive incident there with the car 55 in the first stint, but you know, you just keep plodding along and then you'll end up getting back to the front, which is essentially what they've done. But so far, you know, Raddy's got his damage fixed. We're leading with Venti here in the safety car. I need to find him because he's in 15th, but yeah, I think, you know, big ups to Venti as well, sticking it out in the safety car, because you know, it's not an easy job, but it's also not really a hard job. But yeah, big thanks to Venti and all the other drivers involved too. So I think this one as well, being a 60 lap stint, will also come into play with pit stops, with undercuts and overcuts, etc. With where you can pit and how long tyres can last. And I know what Matt's up to. So I'm not going to kind of reveal that, but I do know what Matt's planned for this last stint. So hopefully it works out for him. But we'll just wait and see. So you obviously know I've got my monopoly money on Matt, but at this point it can be really anyone's race with these settings and this mixture of cars and track and stuff like that.
That's exactly right. When you've taken the fastest GT cars in the world and made them even faster and put them on one of the most unforgiving racetracks on the planet, it is, you would call a recipe for disaster, but we've got very good drivers on the racetrack. These guys are all going to go very hard and it's going to be great to watch.
So the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, which will then obviously lead the way for Brandosa as well, but he's got some big names behind him. Obviously the defending 2021 champion in Diswood won. He's got the number 1 on the car for a reason. He's actually gone back to his gold livery, so I do think he's in that livery for the rest of the season. So he felt like he had some good juju in that car, so he's like, why not bring it back out? So, but then he's obviously got Mid-Map behind him, and not too far behind them three, you've got Viper Z, Speedy Tyres and N-Spud. We do know what kind of pace Speedy has in the race, mate. I was under that much pressure in the first race and only bottled it about 3 times.
Yeah, that was a very exciting finish to that first race. You know, us in the commentary box, we were very much on the edge of our seats watching that, and there was a brilliant battle between yourself and Speedy, and of course Diswood as well. So it's great to watch, and yeah, it definitely looked like everyone was on the edge in those last few laps trying to fight for that final position as we get set to go back racing. So Brandosa will lead the field away again for what will be the second restart of this stint, and everyone is back on the lead lap crucially, so it's going to be a straight fight from here. Rose is ducking off in the pit lane. Looks like he's taking some damage, but Brandosa getting us back underway here for lap number 5, so 56 laps remaining in this race. And he gets a good exit out of Hell Corner. There's Diswood 1 in tow, and Matt right behind him as well. And then a slight bit of a gap between Mid-Matt and Duram 50, so just a little bit off the pace of the front 3. But Brandosa doing a nice job so far of keeping Diswood at a distance.
Yeah, he's chucked on a different tune for this final stint, so hopefully he's got a bit of comfortable running in the car, and he looks to be like he's pretty on song here. So the car looks very stable, but that may change, granted, on, you know, if the wind changes or anything like that. So yeah, I guess, you know, anything can happen, and I know myself, I kind of preferred headwind coming into the chase, so the car was a lot more stable over the top of the hill as per what you would have a tailwind, so which would be a crosswind. So the wind direction, or Woodsy's picked up some front splitter damage here, so that's not ideal for Woodsy at all, being this this early into the stint, but you know, myself, under my experience, anything can happen. So you both probably saw I got damage on lap 1 of both my first and second stint.
So Matt now making the move into second place past Eastwood, who's travelling along with an ailing calf, courtesy of that damage he's just sustained, and he's going to head off into the pit. So at the moment we're looking like it's Racing Esports 1-2, with Grandosa in the lead and Mint Matt running in second, and then third and fourth to the satellite racing crew of Speedy Tyres and Viper Z holding down third place ahead of your two-time defending champion Speedy Tyres in the Bathurst 1000. Should be careful how I say that, because I could be trying to insinuate that he's our two-time defending Touring Car Series champion as well, which would be correct.
Yeah, no, him and Woodsy did a very stellar job last year in the Enduros. They had one of the best runs, I think, in the Enduros, you know, keeping Matt at bay, yourself and Matt. So they've done an outstanding job. But Ruddy McForehead here is on he's on a mission to get back up to the front there, on where I think he should be. And saying that, I give him a commentator's curse, and he's hit the wall, and Viper Z's hit the wall too. So, you know, anything's possible. So he's just hoping to not impede anyone. But Wiseacre looks to have a little bit better connection. It's still kind of pretty laggy, but you know, we'll assess that situation. But yeah, 2 cars there with damage. Oh, 3 cars here, Aussie Hypnotic as well. So very unfortunate there for those drivers, you know, not getting a safety
just
car.
had a switch for the lead as well. So Mint Matt now taking over the lead of this race from Grandosa. Not sure how easily that happened though, but
It looks like Brando's got a bit of damage, so
oh no.
that could be the reason behind it. The other thing I've noticed that in the space of 6 laps, N-Spud P666 has come from the back of the field to 4th. And that's soon to become 3rd as Brandoza brings it into the pits.
Yeah,
So a bit of changes there from N-Spud between Stints 2 and Stint 4, and suddenly that car's come to life for him, and he's actually holding pace here with Speedy Tyres. So maybe he just wasn't quite showing his cards early on in the race or something like that.
Yeah, I do know he was struggling a lot in that stint that he raced. I think it was the second one. His car didn't look pretty stable. It looked very edgy. So I think maybe that practice that he had in between what would be stint 3 and 4, I think he's definitely looked into the car and maybe got a tune from Raddy to see if he can get a car to handle better. But so far, as I say that, he squirms, but that's the tailwind there going up through 4 and 5. So that can really cause a lot of issues for the car. You know, as you said, Brian, one of the fastest race cars in the world, and you just put a massive turbo on him and give him an extra 350 horsepower. So yeah, I guess, you know, what do you do when you do this? You know, how big are our brains for this if we're doing it?
I don't think it's the brains that's the big part of it, realistically, but I'll leave that there.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I like the cars, but the big wings are definitely causing havoc here. But Speedy Tyres at the moment, he's jumped up into second place. He'll definitely be one to watch out for coming into the last 10% of this race. So it will be a double stop here in this stint, because I do know that you won't be able to make the end on one stop, not with tyres as well. So my tyres died about lap 16, 17, but yeah, I think the damage played a massive part in that as well. Kind of saved me a little bit, but you know, the ripple strips, the wind, and the walls never agree with you at Bathurst.
So we've got Mint Matt well out in front at the moment. I'm not sure what the margin actually is though. I can't quite see that on the screen. Might need confirmation from DJ on that one, although I think it's kind of irrelevant now as the safety car's just come out.
Yeah,
so
it was 7.1, but he's done his purple lap, so he's done his fastest lap of the race on lap 7. But I wonder if someone will pit here, but as I say that, Ratty McForehead, Diswood, who's also got damage, Aussie and Ratty have all got damage. So I think
So who's the one that's got the engine damage out of all this?
That would be Roses.
Yeah.
Roses. So it's Roses there with the damage. He's limping back to the pits. For a moment there, I thought he wasn't going to pit.
He was definitely leaving that pit entry to the very last second, that's for sure.
Yeah, he, when I had that massive amount of damage, I could barely get that car into the pit lane, let alone down a straight. So I was very scared. But yeah, you know, that's what you do, and you just kind of got to try and get it to limp back. But hopefully we see a bit more green flag running with these guys. As Venti just waits here, waits for Matt to come around. But I wonder if Matt will pit here if he. No, he doesn't. Okay, he's sticking to his strategy and what he wants to do. So that'll be interesting to see who else pits. But I think it might be a bit too early there to give up track position, granted on how ugly these cars are in dirty air.
Yeah, you put the big wings on the back and the aero wash just increases tenfold. That's why with supercars, with the new generation cars that are coming for 2023, they're taking a lot of the aerodynamics away so that the cars can follow a lot closer.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of the aero in, mixed of the shape of the car as well. It's a lot different to what the current ones are. But we got Ando in the chat here saying Spud changed his tune literally, so that's definitely a positive thing on what he's done. So it looks to be like he's handling a lot better.
Now I just did notice there that coming into Murray's corner, that the gap between Speedy Tyres and Mint Matt was dramatically slashed. I was wondering if Matt has sort of decided to back off a bit and go into a fuel conserve and just drop that gap down under safety car. Rather than pushing on to the finish line and getting behind the safety car.
Yeah, well, you would think, you know, that would be the smart thing to do. Matt's got a very good head on him, but you know, we had a lot of pre-race talks last night, and we kind of assessed on where we needed to be. So definitely first and third, and currently leading is kind of really where we wanted to be up the pointy end. But we've got Diswood, who's actually behind me in the championship, down here in 13th, and he was what was second, and second. So he's right there, I guess. So this final stint is the big point. So the big 300 is up for grabs in this one if you do cross the line in first. So we'll definitely wait to see what happens there. So I think the championship as well, we've got Speedy not too far behind, but he's also on a drop round as well, considering he missed Red Bull Ring. So that also comes into play. Yeah,
of course, those drop rounds haven't been factored in quite yet, so drivers that may look like they're further down the order have possibly missed races as well, and that may complicate the championship picture a little bit more. Although I think from my calculations, I think even with that drop round applied, he still isn't quite in the series lead, but he's certainly in much more of a contending position.
Yeah, well, just looking at it after round 6, he is 301 points behind me. So that was that one round that he missed there, but I think I got a matched one of 285 or whatever it was with Woodsy. So that's the one that he missed, and I think that was a kind of a critical one there where I kind of needed to really perform well. The same as Woodsy, you know, Woodsy got the round win, and I think Woodsy's, you know, a bit surprised on where some of the drivers are as well as myself. So, you know, it's really anyone's championship come to the last round, so anything's possible.
Yeah, just a bit of confirmation there from Venti. Looks like the safety car will be in this lap. And we'll have Mint Matt leading away from Speedy Tyres and Spud P666 sitting in third. So back to, after having the first 4 cars as Hondas, we're now back to a Honda, Nissan and then Lexus in the top 3. And then of course PLE Wiseacre in another Lexus in 4th. And then we've got Loudy Dark Mist in 5th, and Gaban's now up into 6th place after recovering those laps.
Yeah, so both of the ISR cars here are for position. So currently they are sitting 4th and 6th. So pretty nice early showing there from the drivers, but they do have some quick drivers behind them in EBM Brandosa, Viper, Duram, Lurox, Raddy, and the WRT boys in Aussie and Roses, but also Woodsy. So Woodsy's catching back up. Looks like he's brimmed the tank, so he's on a full tank of fuel. So he's gone for an alternate strategy here from what I can see, and also a new set of tyres. So watch out for Woodsy to come through the field in this one.
Yes, an interesting call there from Woods, but he must have confidence in his abilities to make the fuel and the tyres last as long as possible. I imagine that it'll be more of a case of whether the tyres last over how long the fuel lasts though.
Well, I can tell you from my experience, the fuel lasts a lot longer than what the tyres do.
So we get ready to go back racing here. Will be Mint Matt leading the way. We'll be 10 laps down, 50 laps to go.
Matt's gone early. He's just gone into just before the braking zone. So he might have caught Speedy off a little bit there, but Speedy's done well to catch that little early mark there from Matt. So Matt can go anywhere in between the safety car getting in the pits and the control line. So essentially that's what would be a green flag, full course green in real life. So anything's possible with a restart, but they all look to have spread out a little bit into their own single file, which is kind of essentially what you want around here.
So Mint Matt leading the way, but here we have Viper Z and Brandosa side by side into Griffiths Bend. And it looks like Viper Z getting up into position number 6. Gaban's running a bit wide there. That might open the door for Brandosa. Has he got the job done? No, he hasn't. So Gaban's holds on to 7th place at the moment. But he's got a very large pack of cars behind him. The likes of Brandosa, Duram 50 and Raddy McForehead in the mix there. As well as Lurox and... Lurox. Just Lurox it is. I thought it might have been Aussie Hypnotic as well, but he's just a little bit further back. So Raddy McForehead sitting in 11th place at this stage.
Woodsy's on a hunt. He's really on a hunt through there. He's right on the back of Aussie. So I think as well we've got Raddy on what looks to be possibly 1 or 2 lap older tyres than Woodsy, but you know that 1 or 2 lap older may work in his favour, but also might not. So we'll keep an eye on Woods on how much of a run he can get here on Aussie coming into the chase. So we'll run on board here. He's got a really nice run. Takes the inside there. Makes an awesome move there coming into the chase. He almost runs a little bit wide. Looks like to be he's balked Aussie a little bit there, but as well we have Roses. He's currently, I think, just after 5 AM over in England. So what looks to be an all-nighter for him.
Yeah, brilliant effort there from Roses. He's certainly doing a stellar job given his situation over in the UK. As we head back out in front, it looks like Mint Matt's just started to stretch that advantage out a little bit. Is that, I think it's 1.3 seconds between the two cars by the looks of things.
Yeah, 1.4, 1.5, soon to probably be 1.6.
So Matt trying to build that advantage early on, and then Speedy Tyres getting a bit of a gap over and Spud P666, but a nice little battle here forming between Spud and Wiseacre.
Spud's actually got damage, so he's got front splitter, front suspension and right rear suspension, so no engine, so that's no safety
a lot
car.
Of damage there.
But he looks to be holding up what looks to be an angry pack of 5 cars, but you know the mountain's only got one line and one line only really through the top, so it's a lot harder to get out of line. But I wonder if he's going to hold that damage or if he's going to pit, but I know it's not ideal to run with suspension around here, just obviously from personal experience, but you know, it's up to Spud. It's still a long race with what I think would be 48 laps to go.
I would have thought he'd be a sitting duck there, but surprisingly he has held on to that spot very nicely from Wiseacre. I thought with the extra pace advantage he might have gotten around, but eventually Wiseacre just waits his turn and Spud peels off into the pit lane. So Wiseacre now up into position number 3, holding down the podium spot, but he's got the likes of Viper's Head and Loudy Dark Mist behind, all threatening for a podium position. And of course we've got Caban's there sitting in 6th spot, and he's holding off Brandosa really nicely here. Brandosa trying to find a way past. Caban's going on the defensive, is going to make Brandosa go the long way around if he wants it. Oh, I didn't think that was going to quite work, and it didn't. You just really need a strong advantage of a race car to get around the outside there. And Caban's just holding his line nicely and staying strong in position number 6. And Brandosa is going to have to find another spot to get past him.
Caban's is doing a really nice job here, same as Wiseacre, so it looks to be not folding under pressure or anything like that, so that's good from those drivers. But yeah, the Honda outside of turn 2, not recommended at all, especially with how on edge that car is. So, you know, Brandosa might have worked some wonders there, but so far he's sitting pretty in 7th. But my assumption would be that if he gets in the slip here, he should be able to take Caban's into the chase.
I wouldn't recommend the outside of turn 2 even in the safest of cars, let alone the sketchiness that is the NSX.
So Caban's on the defensive again. Really not making this job easy for Brandosa to get ahead. Certainly not the easiest places to pass it in one of these cars. You really need a strong advantage. Probably at least a second a lap over the car in front to really get ahead. And even then it might be a bit of a challenge. Of course, I think Caban's going to go on the defensive again, and yes, he knows where to position his car. He's going to place it perfectly, although I nearly got it this time around. I think Brandosa's got the job done here, so nice move around the outside there from Brandosa, pulling the Craig Lowndes manoeuvre. And a stern defender in Caban's unfortunately becoming the John Bow in this situation.
Yeah, but now with these two fighting, it's brought in Jerram and Raddy McForhead into this mix. So I don't think I'd want to be Brandosa or Caban's in this situation. Granted that you've got Raddy there, but not far behind him you've got Woodsy. So that's definitely, you know, not a real ideal. But in saying that, Match just done a 44 dead, so he's on some pace with his laps there. He's got that gap out to 2.9 seconds. So I think Match just out there running some laps, so we'll definitely wait and see if that gap will close down and if we're going to have another 5-lap sprint to the end like we have so far.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. Looks like the advantage is going out from Mint Matt. I think he'll be very keen to atone for last year's result where he just fell short of victory, and he's keen to get 3 seconds out in front and maybe extend that margin as much as possible. So Viper's head up in the P4, so he'll be hunting down the top 3 spot here. He's about, looks like it's 1.4 seconds between himself and Wiseacre.
Yeah, I know that he's on the hunt, and I think, you know, not putting any teams out of it or down or anything, but I think so far, yeah, what would be 3 strongest cars would be the 95 with Matt, Speedy Tyres and Viper's Z. So essentially they're all kind of running in what position they, you know, would expect them to be in. But then you've got an ISO car, a PLE Wiseacre in the mix. You know, where's this pace come from Wiseacre? I haven't seen him be, you know, this consistently quick all season. So it's definitely good to see him up there and some different cars and teams in the mix as well.
I think Wiseacre's pace can be pretty well explained by the fact that he's Australian and this is Bathurst.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You could say that about a lot of people though, so I'm imagining maybe they've just got a good tune set in there. I know Wiseacre is probably a much stronger driver without tunes, but I guess if someone gives him the right package, he's very much a talented driver and he can extract the speed out of it when the conditions are right. So he must be in the right conditions at the moment and sitting nicely in third spot at the moment. Although it is a long way to go, we've still got another 45 laps to go in this race. So there's a lot of time for anything to happen here. As we just take a look at Loudy Dark Mist, he's sitting in 5th place. He's coming under a bit of attack there from Brandosa, who's closed up after getting around Gabans.
He's gapped Gabans by 4 seconds there, so Gabans just did a PB of a 47.1 too, so I don't know, maybe Gabans might have had a bit of a mistake, or gets really squirrely there coming out of turn 2, but Jerem as well, he's dropped back to 9th, so I wonder if something happened with him, or he's just kind of trying to settle back into his pace. Oh, Ratty McForward trying to go too wide here through what people would call the quarry, and coming into the grate here, so that's definitely not somewhere you really want to kind of pass, as you guys probably saw in Stint 1. Speedy tried to do it to me, and I was somewhat kind of worried, but you know, the Honda prevailed in that instance. So I was pretty happy.
Yeah, that area through what they call quarry and coming up towards that right-hander, which used to be referred to as coming under the tree, because there used to be a tree that actually hung out over the racetrack there. As Jerem's gone round in the 50. That's the second of the CP Motorsport Hondas. Didn't look like he had engine damage, but everything else is damaged. So that's going to really affect his pace. Yeah, the last time I realistically saw in the Bathurst 1000 that someone tried to go too wide through that section called Quarry was back in 1995, and the front of John Bowers' Shell Falcon met the concrete after contact with Glenn Seat. Meanwhile, back in the race,
Viper's got some damage here. I think that dirty air really... I was talking to Viper earlier, and he definitely doesn't like the dirty air in these things. I think everyone can kind of agree. You know, up the top, really got to lift in places where you didn't think you had to, and essentially just let the car roll through the corner, because it just sucks you in, especially coming where he is now. That's essentially how I put it in the wall. You know, I sent it into the wall because I was in there, and I lifted, but then the car just hung and it just went onto the ripple strip and just spun around. So it's not ideal at all, but you know, we kind of got to adapt to the situation, I guess, and I guess that's where your whole racing mentality and your smart head comes on. And I think everyone that's in current main series with co-drivers as well as main drivers, they've earned their spot here, and you know, they're doing well to not have the safety car out in what would be just over 10 laps. So that's definitely a good thing.
that's exactly right, DJ. With these cars, as you say, that the aero wash is really bad. That just basically means, for layman's terms, is these cars are very dependent on having air on the front of the car to help them turn. So when you're getting behind another car, the car in front punches a big hole in the air, so you end up with less air pressure, and therefore your car develops a lot of understeer very quickly.
Yep, and I can tell you that when the understeer comes in around the corner, you don't want to be in the pilot seat of this car, because it, you know, puts you in the wall or in the grass or in anything like that. But yeah, it's a very, I think, aerodynamic dependent car in just a general sense. You know, you run them with no aero in one track, and you'll run them with like max aero at the other track. So I think it's just track dependent, especially here. You need a lot of aero, what will be on the front, because you needed to say bite or grab going over the top. especially through what would be the grade in the S's, because considering you've got such a short amount of racetrack with what was essentially, say, 5 or 6 corners, you know, you kind of got to get the car to grab and turn and bite in, as what you would say.
Yeah, especially with how close the walls are on this circuit as well. I've noticed that
The
during
band's
those,
just lost a spot to Diswood.
Oh, that's engine damage there. So it looks like he's had a bit of pressure there from the Woodsy. So that would be a safety car. So we'll see where Matt is. And Matt's in as well. And Speedy doesn't. So Speedy, he's definitely playing an alternate strategy here to what Matt would do. I wonder what... Oh, Wyzak has got damage too. Viper Z. They both come in the pits. Brando, I think this will be roughly around about between lap 18 to 22 would be your first lap window, with tyres and fuel and stuff like that, depending on what you want to do with stints and etc. But Loudy and Speedy have definitely played out track position here, I think. But you know, I don't know if that's kind of the play that you want to do, but you know, each to their own. So we'll just wait and see what happens. I think the real winner here is Woodsy. You know, he's on less tyres than these two and more fuel. So I think for me personally as well, the Honda is a lot more stable with more fuel. You know, puts more load in the car and makes it less light. And yeah, it's kind of essentially what you want. But in the process of this, I just need to go for a code 10 while they're under safety car, so I'll leave it on 20 and I shall be back very shortly.
Hey, did someone back?
Yes, I am back, and I'm refreshed with a Canadian club with a coolie holder that says "Screw COVID, I'm going to Bathurst." So I feel like it's very, very fitting for this current time.
Very appropriate.
Very much so, as well as my Peter Brock Bathurst 1000 King of the Mountain shirt. So I think it's just Bathurst vibes going on. 2 weekends in a row. So I think it's the weekend for it. Such you'd say. I think Venti's staying up for another lap. So maybe they're letting Rose just catch back up or something like that. I'm not really sure.
I guess I won't let anyone know what shirt I'm wearing today, but...
Tell me it's an It's Racing esports shirt, maybe with the number 95 on it.
It may have the number 95 on it.
What shirt are you wearing, Brian, if you are wearing a shirt?
Sadly, I am wearing a shirt and it's just a plain one.
Oh, you are a bit of a basic man, aren't you?
That was the first one I pulled out this morning.
So was this one. This was the first one I pulled out. But while we are on the safety car, I think who we got our Monopoly money on? Because we don't bet real money here, we just bet Monopoly money. But you guys know who my money's on. I'd like to know who, your guys and everyone in the chat as well. Who do you think will be on the top step at the end of the 60 laps?
Well, I think my Monopoly money's probably on the same guy yours is on. That being the 95 of Mint Matt. Could say I'm a little biased, but I do feel like he probably is one of the strongest drivers there. Probably the other guy that I'd say that I would think of putting my money on is the current leader, Speedy Tyres. And of course you can never really discount Diswood either, but maybe I'll throw it to Brian and ask who his Monopoly money is on.
The safe money's absolutely on Matt. There's no question of a doubt.
I think we're a little bit biased here in the combox. We got Brian, me, and It's Racing. You got the team owner, the driver, and what would be essentially a cheerleader or a fangirl. So.
Thanks.
as long as you're happy, but we'll always want you to step in and race for us one day, Brian. But as far as GT7's concerned, I know that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Nah, my PlayStation at this point's up to about 2 inches of dust sitting on top of it.
So Venti should start to pull away just as we get to the Audi R8 bridge, which we know we don't see many Audi R8s here unless it's for the 12-hour. Saying that, he just pulls away, so now it's all in the hands of Speedy Tyres. So Speedy will then be in control of the field, but I don't know if he should be worried of the cars behind him that are on fresh tyres. Obviously, Viper's got him, Wiseacre, Ratty, Brando. Lurox looks like he pitted on lap 14, so he's got 5 laps old tyres. N-Spot as well, so we've got a lot of mix and matching here of cars on fresh tyres and old tyres, and different fuel levels as well, on where they're going to make it to the end and stuff like that too. So I think it's going to be very interesting come the end of the race.
So we've got Speedy leading the field back through the final corner, and he gets back up the speed and heads across the finish line. He'll lead the field back to the green flag, lap number 22 of 60. Although you could really say it's lap 123 all up. I'm going to be doing some mental gymnastics throughout this final stint trying to add up the numbers. Thankfully, it's only 101 laps in theory, if we just ignore that extra lap that DJ added in stint 2.
My bad. I think I did it for stint 1 too. I don't know. I can't remember. No, I didn't do it for stint 1. Yeah, so it was for stint 2. My apologies, but we got it fixed and there we go. So we're not going off lap 59 results on this. We are going on lap 60. Whoever gets a checkered flag. So we are doing the Bathurst 1006.213. So again, my apologies for that, but I think it's working a lot better than what it was last year too. So I think the free run is definitely not where it's at, but you know, we tried what we did and we've decided to go for a different kind of format this year for these races.
I will just clarify, 162 laps is 1,006.506 kilometres.
Actually, yes, you are correct, because it's 6.2 plus another 6.2. So, yeah, no, I guess, you know, what... I don't even know if it's exactly 1,000 Ks here either, if it's 161. I think it's just over, or just under, or something like that.
It's about 300 metres over. So they get it pretty close. As close as you could probably humanly get it.
Getting back to the action, just want to see what's happened to Viper's Ed, because there's a nice little battle there going on between himself, P.L.E. Wiseacre. Ratty McForehead now moved himself up to 5th. At one stage, Viper's Ed was in 4th. Not sure what's happened there. Maybe he got a bad exit out of the chase, but he was ahead of Mint Matt for a while. Mint Matt's got ahead, and now Viper's Ed dropped down the 6th place and really got himself in a battle pack there. But Ratty McForehead, after that bit of damage earlier on, he's recovering nicely, put himself back into the top 5 and finding himself firmly back in contention for this race. Although at the moment we've got Speedy Tyres leading away, Loudy Darkness sitting in 2nd, just about a second or two further back, and then Diswood, who's really put himself back into contention after that early damage as well. He's really done well with the strategy calls to manipulate himself back into the top 3 and earn that important track position that may provide crucial later on in the race.
Yeah, I think we've got a secret assassin too this weekend. You know, we've got Loudy Darkness, who's kind of really swept under the covers this weekend. You know, he's sitting in P2 and he was up in P5 and P4 and stuff like that. So he's definitely... I heard he was having troubles with the car quite a bit through the week, and he did actually reach out to Speedy and ask him for some help, same as Aussie asked myself for help. So it's, you know, we're always happy to help as best as we can without giving each other our tunes. So yeah, I know that maybe the help that Speedy gave Loudy's definitely gave him a bit of confidence there in the car, and not only that, probably just himself as well. So it's interesting to see. Oh, we got a safety car here. Who's this? Gaban. So Gaban's has got engine damage there, so he must have got it out up over the hill through the S's somewhere like that. So maybe this will trigger Speedy Tyres, Loudy and Woodsy pitting, because I know that Ratty won't pit. Granted that he obviously not long pit, and then, you know, track position is key with these cars. Especially, like, you know, you probably saw from myself in that first stint, as soon as I had track position right at the end, it definitely made a lot of difference coming up through turn 3, 4, all the way over the top down to elbow essentially. Spud's dropped down to P10, so I think he's just come out of the pits as well. So we may see a bit of a shuffle in the lineups here from what would be the top 3, I think. But they did catch the safety car pretty early, so that will drop them all the way to the back if they do decide to go in. So I don't know if that's exactly where they want to be. Granted that the 95 and the number 1, as well as the 45, are up at this point end of the field. So definitely going to be a bit of an interesting one to see what they're going to do, but the safety car's coming in as well, so that'll also play another part in what happens as well.
Yeah, these front guys just happened to be past the pit end. The safety car came through from Venti. But speaking of Venti, what a drive he had yesterday in TS3.
He did. He had an outstanding drive. I think Bathurst has really brought out the power of the It's Racing boys. I don't know. I'm just, you know, we've worked with Venti so far, and it looks like it definitely paid off. You know, he had the pressure from Rick Reen there early on, and you know, he kept his cool and kept his head, and you know, didn't didn't let Rick Green get into it, and he kept himself on the top step there. So awesome job to Venti getting that race 2 win. So.
It was just a shame the TS2 boys couldn't hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, come on, what are you doing, mate? But we go racing here, lap 25 of 60, so they've completed 24 on 25, and they I do believe it's 36 laps to go. So no safety cars at the end of 55, 54, 55.
Start of 56.
Yeah, so end of 55.
Just to throw another number in the mix.
Yeah, so end of 55, start of 56, there'll be no more safety cars. So we are nearly halfway through the race, and we're 53 minutes in, which is running on good time at the moment. So. It's like someone hit the wall. Oh no, there's a bit of lag. Oh, Lurox. No, Lurox did hit the wall. I thought I caught someone hit the wall. And Jaram as well, so he's got a bit of damage.
That's going to create a bottleneck, although Aussie Hypnotic going for the Shane Van Gisbergen move there at McPhillamy Park, taking advantage of the damage from Lurox. So he now moves himself back into the top 10. And I'd imagine that the likes of Duram 50 will be certainly pushing to make it their way past Lurox, especially down this long Conrod Straight.
Yeah, Duram does have some aero damage as well, and I know personally that's not ideal damage that you want to have going around here so far. Ooh,
he makes light work of... So yes, Diswood making a move in the second, gets all out of shape out of the chase, and that's going to bring Loudy Darkness back into play. They run side by side into Murray's corner, and looking in the background for a way past is Mint Matt. So these two might not want to start fighting too much, otherwise they'll just invite an opportunity for Matt to wander on past them.
Yeah,
although at this stage it's very close up.
Yeah, running with forehead.
Now looking for a way past.
And Raddy's got past him.
Yeah, awesome job there by Raddy McForehead, who was previously known as Coming For You. So I do prefer his name Coming For You, because he has told us that he's only changed his name just for commentators' sake, just to make our lives a bit harder, make us sound like a bit stupid. So thank you, Coming For You, for that one. But yeah, he's definitely got some pace out of that Lexus. Something chronic, and definitely taking it to the likes of Matt. I know Mark would have been really surprised about that, especially on the outside of turn 2 as well.
You realise, DJ, every time we race iRacing with him in the future, he's going to be bragging to us about how he passed Matt.
Oh, definitely. I don't even think just iRacing. I think just in general, he's going to be bragging about that. But you know, lap 26 to 60, there's still a long way to go.
That's exactly right. 34 laps to go at the end of this one. So we would be approaching about the end of lap 127 for the complete race. Speedy's got a couple of seconds now over Diswood. Speedy's got good pace, so that will be pretty difficult for Diswood to close in, but I would not rule that out as the gap comes below 2 seconds as they go through Murray's corner once again to complete the lap.
Yeah, but the one thing we do have to look at is Speedy's tyres in the 10% range, so that'll give him more or less roughly about 5 to 7 laps. So he's going to be hoping for everything that a safety car is going to come out. So if he does,
I would even say he's about 2 laps away from pitting with fuel.
Yeah, I think that would have gone in the 10% range, and depending if he's in a bit of fuel conservation mode or anything like that, but it looks like he's still on 100% at the moment, so it will definitely be interesting to wait and see what happens there. But same as well for Loudy, so Loudy and Speedy are very low on fuel, so with fuel and stuff like that, it's about a 40 to 45 second pit stop. I know that especially for myself, because it's 3 litres per second, so it's definitely a big one. So maybe he's running...
I'd just like to look back at the battle between Raddy and Mint, I think. Oh no, I thought it did close up for a second, with Raddy getting out of shape out of the cutting.
Well, Lupper's got some damage here, so he's got Wiseacre all over the back of him. But then N-Spud's right at the back of them two as well, so they wouldn't want to really bottle each other up, because then you will have Spudley on the back of this lot.
I think Matt's closed in the back of Ruddy McForehead here. Could be looking to make a move into the chase. Moves out from the inside. Has a bit of a look. Not quite enough to get the job done there, though.
I don't know how Ruddy pulled that up there, and he was so late on the brakes, and so was Matt, and that's just incredible. And this is what we didn't want here. Robbo Sport with the engine again. Oh, he's done it at turn 4 as well. That's definitely not where he wants it to be. And the other thing as well, they've all gone past the pit lane. So who's Jerem here? So I think really Jerem and Roses may be the big winners out of this one. Granted that they're jumping in now. So ideally you'd kind of fill up the tank and try and get to the end on fuel, and then just pit for tyres on roughly around, let's say, like 45-ish. Somewhere like that. But definitely wait and see what happens there. But yeah,
it was very much the worst time for a safety car to come out, although I don't think Venti has picked them up, so they will be able to run around again and get back to the pit line on under full speed, and that might be something that Speedy Tyres actually aims to do.
Just looking at Speedy there, he is on 100% full send. He is absolutely giving it to the GTR. He's trying to build out as much of a gap to everybody else as he can, so he can get into the pits and try and come out as far up the field as he can.
Yeah, and we do know what Speedy Tyres is like with some fresh rubber, because I tell you what, mate, he was starting, I think it was P5 or P6 in that first stint, and I was like, nah, he should be right, but next thing you know, he's hounding the back of me, so yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. But he goes in the pits here, and the question is, what is he going to do with fuel as such like that? I wonder where Woodsy, so Woodsy follows him in as well. My guess as well is Loudy, so essentially your race leader for track position would be Ruddy McForehead, followed by Mitt Matt. So I don't know if Speedy Tyres or Woodsy really would have wanted that to happen, but you know, maybe this is a bit of Ruddy McForehead saying, look at what I can do. You know, I'm in front of Matt. You know, we're taking it to the It's Racing camp. So we do know that Xylon and Ando haven't had the best of run in stint 1, 2, and 3. So. Venti's just picked them up now. We'll see where they can pop out. So where's Roses? So Roses coming across now. Speedy Tyres just come out. He's in P7. 10 seconds behind Woodsy. So Woodsy's actually jumped Speedy in the mix here.
Woodsy would have had that advantage of having to take about 9-10 laps less fuel.
Yeah, definitely, and that makes a massive difference. Obviously, it's a bit of a bad situation because it was under safety car, but you know, if it was in green laps racing, it would have made a massive difference. But I think, you know, Speedy was really thanking the safety car gods that one happened. So I think he may need to pay a bit of dividends there to Robbo and the Rock. So I wonder how many more engines Robbo Sport has in the tank of the RSR camp. Durex is in the mix here, so I think safety car will be out for probably 1, if not 2 more laps.
I just got a feel for all the Nismo engine employees in Yokohama that have to work 20-hour days building engines for Robbo Sport Racing.
Sort of bit of a penalty there. I'd assume that he crossed the pit lane line. Granted, it was 3 seconds. Right. At the moment, we've got Lunacy in the Discord saying, "Let's go Woodsy." We've got John saying Team Brandosa. So we've got a couple of other drivers there going for what would be their co-driver. So we'll definitely wait and see what happens here. But the Rocks should hopefully get waved around very shortly. I'm surprised Jerem and and Aussie aren't a little bit further up the pack. Granted that they pit there, but I think that was a bit of a cause because they didn't get caught by the safety car. Viper's picked up some damage there in the middle of that too, so that's probably not what he wants. Yep, so Lurox is going around now, so that's... So we got the Ratty McForehead in the number 45 leading. We have gone officially over 50% race distance in this final stint. So we do have what would be 31 laps to go. I have really bad calculations on laps to go and stuff like that. But yeah, so at the
end of this lap, we'll cross halfway.
Yeah, so we're nearly halfway gone. So we've got, at the end of this, we have roughly about 30 laps to go. So we're sitting about 1:30ish in real race time. Currently approaching what would be 4:33 p.m. So we're roughly about on time for what would be the real race as well too. So.
Once upon a time when the race used to start at 9:30 in the morning, the race would be done about now.
Nowadays they're starting later and later and later. It will definitely be interesting to see what time they start next year with the Gen 3 and their speed. But yeah, so far it started, I think it was 11:30 or 11:45 this year. So I guess, you know, we have had the time in between of the new lobbies opening and stuff like that, drivers warming up, so that kind of killed roughly about half an hour or so. But you know, we get on, and we've got Wiseacre up here into third, so that's a solid job there from him. But would you be worried here if you were Ratty?
Well, you've got one of the best Gran Turismo drivers on the planet right behind you, and you got the guy who's probably got the worst internet connection in all of Gran Turismo behind him. So
I'm having flashbacks of last year when PLE Wiseacre spun mad at Hell Corner.
Although it does look like Wiseacre's a little bit better with his internet, so that's probably a good thing. You know, it's still laggy, but not as laggy as what he has been.
You know, he changed his name to Ratty McForehead. We should just start calling him Patrick. Use his real name.
Well, I don't know how he'd like it, but I'm happy to call him Patrick. Safety car looks like it's coming in. Yep.
Or we could just call him Little Miss Jumpstart.
Oh, I like that one too. Or Noddy as well, because he missed the top 6 shootout yesterday.
Yeah.
Naughty no-show.
Yeah, Noddy no show. We've got Wade in the chat as well, which is Slapper's mate. One in the chat too, saying top 5 finish will be a win for car number 156. Come on, Loudy, mate. Honestly, for a top 5, I'd be pretty happy. But me and Matt have some unfinished business here, so I think you guys know what we're going for. But you know, there's a car number 45, what looks to be, I call it the beach. This blue and sand and stuff like that. So I guess the whole city of Newcastle thing's coming to tuition on a car.
Yeah, I think Spud's definitely got some pride in his hometown.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll be a bit tested come 2023.
Yeah, so much pride he's moving to Melbourne.
Yeah, we might be seeing a complete different livery next year and some whole new sponsors.
So we should see Venti pull away very shortly. As it does, he pulls away at the first sign. Very well done. And to Venti, I would say that he didn't spin the car, but he did spin it in stint 1, I heard. I didn't see it happen. But he did also put it in the wall because his wheel disconnected, so that's why he put it in the wall. But then he had a bit of guidance there from us in the chat saying, stay up the top, we'll catch you next time by. So that's why he was sitting up the top rather than trying to catch us. So.
I think that one was heavily discussed amongst the commentary team, and yeah, we did note that it was some smart thinking there for Venti to stay back as we head back to another restart. We'll cross over into 29 laps to go. Lap 132 of 161. It's Ratty McForehead leading the way. I better call him Patrick now. And it's Matt that's running in second. And then PLE Wiseacre. So Matt and Wiseacre get through turn 1 without hitting each other. So that's a good start. And then we've got N-Spud sitting in 4th. And then it's EBM Brandosa in 5th place. So I'm thinking a bit too far ahead of myself. But Diswood and Speedy Tyres going side by side out of the Griffiths Bend and now into the cutting. It's Diswood that's leading the way from him. Rose is just sitting there in 8th. He's actually got himself back up the order a fair bit. I think compliments of the safety car situation. And Brandosa, he's off the pace there, so he's taken a bit of damage and he's dropping down the order. Not the outcome he would have wanted. And he heads down the runoff. And there's contact between Viper Z and Duram 50.
I don't know if that was Viper Z or Jerem. I don't know who spun him there, but someone definitely spun him coming in there. But yeah, that's no engine damage there, unfortunately, so that's no safety car. So they'll just keep playing on. But yeah, it looks like he came together with someone. I'm not really too sure who it was. It'd be a lot easier if we could have a replay. But unfortunately, we don't. So kind of just keep going where we do. But at the moment, Ratty McForehead seems to be keeping... Sorry, Patrick seems to be keeping Matt at bay here. So maybe Matt's thinking, what's going on? You know, what's Ratty or Patrick done to his car? You know, he's definitely getting some pace out of that MSR Lexus. That's for sure a lot.
There is a couple of things I'd like to point out though, is that look at the situation of Mint Matt's fuel compared to the likes of Diswood and Beatty Tyres.
And also Ratty as well.
Ratty. So
is
Matt playing the longer game here, and he's just sitting back and going, well, I'm going to conserve all of my gear. I've got a good position here, and then go for a battle here later on in the race.
Yeah, so
like I said, obviously got the damage that we saw earlier.
Now, I noticed Viper had the engine damage. He was on pit straight, so that's a very long trip around the mountain to get back to the pits.
Yeah, by the looks of it, where it happened, it looks like he pulled a bit of a Jordan Boyce there. You know, get on the ripple strip on the right hand side, and it plasters you into the wall on the left. So unfortunate, but very easy to do. You know, I've nearly done it myself multiple times. You know, you try and run that wide line up and over the curb, but there's grass on the outside, which ideally we don't like. But you know, we keep going, so it's not hard to do at all. So yeah, it's unfortunate for Viper, but I wouldn't put it past him, seeing him charge through the field like he did in Stint 1, but to get engine damage on the last lap was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, the same thing Simona Di Silvestro did in the Ultima back in 2017.
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing, actually.
I just remember Jordan Boyce because it happened in front of me. I was standing at the wall and I hear a car come around, just wheels squelching, and then next minute he's in the wall, and I had to help clean up the damage, and you know, it wasn't exactly ideal, but yeah, it's definitely very interesting.
So you assume the role of Bert there?
Yeah, same as when majority of the cars come down the front straight and stay on the racing line and put all the gravel there. We got to sweep it off the racing line. So they obviously haven't got the smarter head on them to, you know, put the gravel on the non-racing line over near the wall, but You know, we got to sit there, and me and a mate went out there with brooms, and everyone else in the pit lane was just watching us. So they were just watching us, saying, "Yeah, you guys are doing a good job," rather than grabbing brooms and helping us. So it was.
Do you have any video footage of you actually doing manual labour?
They don't see. In that regard, they don't think we're that special. You know, we just clean the track for them just so the race cars can be put on the screen.
I just can't believe you've done any actual physical work.
Likewise, Brian. Likewise.
So just of note there, Wiseacre rolling along with the full lean on the fuel mix. Not sure what the planning is there. Obviously, doesn't really show a counter of how many laps of fuel left.
Being 18%, I would say he's got 6 laps max left of fuel in that Lexus, if it's running on roughly about the same amount as what the Hondas are. So I think he's going to roughly about lap 40, lap 45 if he can try and get there, but that's the question. So whether or not he actually gets there, that's a different story. So then he can just do a one stopper to the end, which I think majority of these other drivers are going to do, especially obviously Ratty, because I can tell you he ain't going to get to the end on those tyres.
The other thing I noticed too there for Wiseacre, he is actually sitting there in 6th gear as well.
Not on the accelerator either too, so he is in max fuel conservation mode. Yeah, so he's sitting there, he's just rolling. He's currently off. He's just rolling around there, just letting the car do its thing. Yeah, if you look at Ratty, he's in what would be 1st gear, half acceleration as well. Matt sitting in 3rd, so drivers look to be doing a lot of fuel conservation here in the safety car, which ideally is kind of really what you want to do, but who else has got... Gabans is low on fuel too, so there's a lot of different strategies going on here.
And really the only way we'll find out which one's actually working is who crosses the finish line first in about 25 laps.
Yeah, definitely. That's certainly sure, and I think we'll watch that, and it'll be very exciting to see on who does. But Loudy down here and Viper's Head down in 13th and 14th. I don't think that's really where we wanted to kind of see those two cars, considering they've been really up the pointy end of what looks to be the 135 laps so far.
Even then, I would say that 25 laps is a long time in this race, so even if they're sitting 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, some of our main contenders, you'd still say that they're very much within a chance of winning it at any point or getting themselves back up into a top 5 position.
Well, that restart definitely helped me in that last stint. I went from, I think it was 9th or 10th, and I ended up jumping up into what was 6th, and then I powered through because they had a bit of damage up the way into 3rd. So I was thankful, but you know, you got to take what you can get and go with the flow, and I guess that's racing for you. Obviously, it's unfortunate seeing cars crash out, but you know, that's racing, and cars are repairable, but people aren't. So if anyone's out there, you know, that's always the thing to live by. Cars are repairable and replaceable, but people aren't. So I think you would have had that as well, Jarman, when you had your sprint car accident. My apologies if I bring up some deja vu here.
Sorry, I missed part of that actually.
With like cars being replaceable and stuff like that. You know, when you had your sprint
Yeah.
car, your rollover and stuff like that. As I said, it was probably bringing back a deja vu that you had that you probably don't really want. But yeah, you know, it was good that, you know, nothing happened to you and you were able to repair it and keep it going. But
Yeah. We're going back racing now with Ratty McForehead leading the way. Sorry, Patrick.
yeah.
Or coming for you.
Or Noddy McNodface or whatever it was.
Naughty No Show,
Yeah,
Little
Naughty.
Mitch Jumpstart. We've got plenty of names for him.
There's plenty more that we could probably not say on stream as well.
Had to.
Definitely. But until then, He seems to be holding Matt up here. He's just gone on corner exit, so Matt was a little bit lacking in there, but he's still in the slipstream. But Ratty seems to have some chronic straight line speed in that Lexus. That's incredible.
Yeah, great restart there from Patrick, and he gets a bit of a gap over Mint Matt. And then PLE Wiseacre sitting in third place as N-Spud and Speedy Tyres go side by side. Although N-Spud thinks just a bit better of it. Doesn't want to try and go around the outside into Griffiths Bend. And he'll hold on to fifth place. Oh, a bit of a sideways moment there from Spud into the cutting. Nearly put it into the fence. He just hangs on. Doesn't lose too much time to Roses. And then we have Gabans and Diswood now up into 8th place. So he's gained a position already on this restart. Trying to work out who he gained a spot from. I think it might be Aussie Hypnotic, possibly.
Every time you see Wiseacre come up through Silman Park, it looks like he gets the wall, but it's just the lag from his connection.
Yeah, he's always good in a straight line. Like, he doesn't lag anywhere unless a car comes up near him. But then as soon as you put him in a corner, the car just doesn't want to do anything. So
Matt seems very content to just sit behind Ratty McForhead at the moment. I think maybe he's playing the conservation game, just trying not to use up his tyres too much in an effort to get past when the lead might be given to him shortly anyway. He just seems to be holding a bit of a gap to Speedy Tyres. I think it's going to be between those two at the end. And I'd just say that probably at this stage, if he isn't coming under threat from Speedy, then he'll probably just decide to just hold station and let the race come to him.
Yeah, I think that, and then he'll do like a maximum push within, say, 10 to go or something like that. But yeah, he's definitely... I think he might be just sitting there conserving fuel and tyres, possibly, as you said. But, you know, personally, if it was me, I wouldn't really want to be sitting in that slipstream. But Matt seems to... He's got a lot smarter head than what I do. So he's a bit far down in his second sector. So, yeah, it's just... We know what times Matt can do, and I've seen what he can do on full fuel, and he's definitely not capable of 45.6 on full fuel. He's definitely faster, but yeah, I think he's just in a bit of conservation here, just seeing what he can do, just biting his time and letting, well, you would say letting Ratty use his fuel and pull him along and let him use his fuel up there as much as he can. But Ratty seems to have a 5-gear setup on this track, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that's very unusual from Patrick there, so he's certainly pushing the limits. He's setting a blue lap time, so personal best for him, but Mint Matt just sort of sitting there taking it easy by the looks of things, but he has closed up a little bit, so personal best there from Patrick there, and then Mint Matt just punching out those 145s, so gap has closed in a little bit, I think, in the last lap or so. We'll see whether Matt does make a attempt to get ahead. Wiseacre still sitting there in third place. Speedy Tyres a bit further back in fourth position, and then N-Spud in the top 5.
Yeah, I think on my head I know what Matt is doing here, but it's just whether or not it's actually coming to tuition or not. Oh, Lurox, that's engine damage there. So he's caught the curb there. That's another engine for the RSR camp. That's definitely not what they want, but maybe this might be what Matt needs. So Matt's obviously got the fuel advantage over Pat. So maybe Matt might try and pit here and run the tyres to the end. I just don't know if they're going to last him 20, 21, 22 laps. That's just the question that I have personally. But you know, Matt might just save him under safety car and see where they go. But we'll definitely keep an eye on these two as they come down Because if I was Pat, I'd definitely jump in the pits now and chuck some fuel in.
Yeah, so safety car finally called there by... And Matt's heading into the pits.
Ooh. Looks like Pat actually balked Matt in the pits then. So it looked like he was going to go in the pits and then he pulled out of it. So that moves Speedy up into P2 at the moment and then Woodsy up into P3. Yeah, it's going to get very interesting. I wonder if Patrick's hoping for another safety car.
Yeah, he'd need another 2 or 3, I think, to be safe there. But he's certainly going for track position over anything else. Matt comes out in 7th place. With Spud in behind. Viper's Head up in the 4th as well. He's got some fresher tyres, so he could be a threat here.
Yeah, I think they all do. Speedy, not too bad, but I definitely wouldn't want to be Pat on those tyres with that pack of cars behind him. That's for sure. A very interesting one there from El Noddy McNo-Show or Ratty McJumpstart. So I'm definitely curious on what he's got going on here, but you know, I guess that's up to him. He's in the car and he's I reckon he's just, you know, planning his rate of attack on the go. I actually noticed a message there to Brando's dad on the side skirt of the MSR car, so rest in peace to his father Noel. So that's a very nice job there from Spud for putting them on the car, as well as the RSR cars too. I do believe they're doing it. Not for Lurox, because Lurox got his old one, but I know Loudy's got it. So I think that's where Brando would like to be. I wonder if he might play a bit of front gunner here for Matt.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot you can do in a team order sense at this stage of the race, especially when you're sitting 5th and 7th.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I thought maybe they might be thinking something, but yeah, you know, I'm not here in this race, so I can't exactly tell. But yeah, so it's going to be very interesting in the last 21 laps. So. Venti's done 16 laps in this stint, so not too bad. He hasn't reached over halfway of the amount of racing laps that they've done, but Lurox has got more damage, so Lurox is in a real war of the worlds at the moment. And across the pit lane. Oh, he's not having a good weekend at all.
He's very much having one of those days you'd rather forget.
Yeah, that was like me in the third stint. I wanted to really forget it. I made it my life very hard.
That said, I think his days have extended into nearly 2 years. He'd rather forget in track stars. It's certainly been a tough time since 2020 for Lurox, who I believe was runner-up in both the Formula Track Stars and the No, I think he was third in the Formula Track Stars, sorry, and then runner-up in the touring cars in 2020. And then since then it's sort of gone a bit backwards for him. Now, did I see that the safety car was in this lap? Yes, it is, because Venti's accelerating away.
Yep, so safety car's in, and it's all in the hands of Patrick there. But I don't know if he wants, as I said, if he wants Speedy behind him. That's the question. But we'll definitely wait and see on what the go is here and how these strategies are going to work. Come 20 laps to go. Holding the field. Oh, he held the field for a little bit there before he got on the gas. So it's not ideal on where he wanted to go. Oh, Matt's just been hounded from the back. So I think maybe people got a bit of an overlap there, if not passing before the control line. So that's maybe one they need to look at probably post-race, but that's maybe not ideal for Matt at all, being mid-pack there. So we'll definitely wait and see what happens here. But I do know that I think that was a bit of my strong point, is my restarts there. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Speedy runs really close to that wall there, coming out of turn 6. Looks like Rose has had a bit of issue there. Yeah, he's got a bit of damage as well as Loudy, so Roses looks to run a little bit wide. He's got front splitter, suspension, so Matt's back up into 8th place and on the hunt, back up the front with what looks to be 19 laps at the end of this one. So it's going to be an interesting, as they say, you know, it always happens to be a sprint to the finish. You know, this 1000 this year last weekend was exactly the same too.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder now in P8 whether this might be a bridge too far for Mint Matt. Although Spud's peeling off into the pits, so that's quickly about to become 7th place. Got another incident at Hell Corner again for Mint Matt late in the race. Is not the ideal way he wants to approach the closing stages of this event. He will now begin to charge towards Duran 50. And I think a bit further up, I may have seen that Speedy Tyres is closing in for the lead. Yes, he's hounding the back of Ruddy McForhead here.
Yeah,
So Speedy Tyres on the hunt for a three-peat in the Bathurst 1000.
Nearly every driver is going to be maximum push here. Oh, Ruddy McForhead's hit the wall and he's copped damage there. So that's not what he wanted, coming in with such short amount to go and the field being so bunched up. So that's not going to be ideal for him coming in the later stage of this race. And essentially, if he goes into the pits, that'll give Speedy Tyres the provisional lead of the race. But I don't know if Speedy Tyres, you know, it's a bit tyres. Speedy car, speedy as well. So I think, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be. That was a bit of an Adam joke there. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. But yeah, Ruddy looks to have lost a lot of straight line speed with that damage there, and he's in maximum defend mode against Speedy. And I know that Speedy wouldn't be happy with this, but you know, he's defending his position and he's pulled off into the pit. So that'll drop him back down to what would be, I'm thinking, probably around 12th-ish, roughly. Oh, Spud's got a penalty too, so...
He's been in for damage, obviously, by the looks, and picked up a pit line penalty coming out.
Woodsy as well.
Woods is in the pit with a lot of damage. Mint Matt's up in the 4th place now. And Brandosa in 3rd on the podium. So it's a satellite 1-2 from It's Racing 3-4.
Yeah, Matt's on maximum push here. He's gone purple through sector 1, so we'll definitely wait and see what that happens. But where's Ratty? He's definitely going to have to put some fuel in here too. So yeah, he's topped up. So he'll be looking to try and go to the end here, but hopefully he'll get it. But he's got 30 seconds off the lead, so if they go all the way to the end, I don't know if he's going to be happy with that one. But same as Woodsy. So you've got a Woodsy battling with Spud now for position 12.
These guys are now very desperate for a safety car.
Definitely. I know that Ratty and Spud and Woodsy, even Roses, will be desperate for one. I know I would be, and I definitely was at the end of that one. But yeah, I think you know, the real winner out of this one here is Speedy Tyres at the moment. But yeah, there's still a looming question over his head if those tyres are gonna make him last all the way to the end.
I think he'll definitely have enough to make it to the end. It's just whether he has the pace to get to the end. Now, did I see that Brandosa was closing up on Viper's Head there? Looks like the gap just dropped down a little bit, and of course someone else is looming large in the background as well.
Oh, Matt looks
That
to be
being
on purple
Mid-Matt.
here.
Let's see what he produces this time around.
44.1.
144.1.
He's on maximum push. He's on maximum attack right now. He's not mucking around.
He's hungry for this victory here, and he's going to put everything on the line for it, and Speedy Tyres responding as well. He's going to be very desperate to hang on to his race lead, make sure it is a three-peat for himself. And coincidentally with 3 different teams as well.
Yeah, that's. He was with was it with RSR the year before? I think it was with Luro.
Yes, so it's with Robbo Sport Racing in 2020 and EBM Brandosa as well in that car as his co-driver. And then last year it was in the CP Motorsport 66 with Diswood. This year with Captain Risky in the Satellite Racing number 41.
Matt's got
As he
that.
continues to hold the lead. Yes, Matt obviously, as you're was about to point out, sorry. And that might have just been a little bit of team orders there. I'm not sure if it was more of a voluntary thing or...
I think
I'm assuming so, because there was definitely no instructions from me to let him past.
no, me either. You know, I'm out there. You know, wherever they finish is where they finish. But I think that's just Brando taking it upon himself. You know, he can see how much pace Matt's got, and he knows that Matt's very hungry. And Matt's actually closed that gap from what was 6.6 to 5.7. So he's put in a 44.7, but he was in a bit of dirty air now. But he's nearly on the back of Viper's Head as Speedy puts in his best lap at a 44.3. So 44.5 to a 44.3, and then he's on again. So Speedy's on maximum attack. I wonder here as well, will Viper's Head come into play and try and be a bit of a blockade for Speedy, guaranteed that he knows Matt's on such a charge?
Yeah, it might be one of those defend like a lion moments here.
I think it's flicking back to the F1. You know, I think what was it? I think it was Checo. You know, you need to hold up Hamilton. So someone. Oh, Brando looks to have a bit of a spin.
Yes, so that's not a good result for him. And he's going to come into under pressure from Dram 50. Did Brandosa actually get any damage?
No, he kept it off the wall.
Wow, that's
Surprisingly.
amazing.
So he's kept it off the wall there, which is very good there from him. Matt's got
Certainly holds him onto 4th position at the moment, although he is under a bit of pressure from Dram 50 and Wiseacre. Although he's just pulled that gap out again already, so there's a bit of speed there from Brandosa's car if he wants to use it.
Yeah, I think Brando's really got his head. Oh, safety car. This is not.
And a safety car.
Spud and Roses. Wow, this is not what Speedy wants. Do they? Speaking of, he jumps into the pits. Viper's off into the pits as well. So this will give
Viper's
Matt.
doing a bit of a Fabian Coulthard there.
Except he didn't stop at Forest Elbow and say, I don't know where the accident is, I don't know where the car's off, hold, hold, hold. So, yeah, I think that gives track position then to Matt and Wiseacre. So Wiseacre's jumped up into P2. That's astounding there from him. So Speedy's putting a bit more fuel in the car to try and get him to the end. So he's just topped up, brimmed the tank there. Matt is ideally, I think, where he wants to be right at this point in time with that track position.
Yeah, I think track position, he's got a car between himself and Speedy tyres as well. And I don't think he's taken a lot out of his tyres to say that he's at a disadvantage either.
No, he knows what he can get out of his tyres, and I do really think he's on that he's racing to a number here, and I think he's at that point now. You know, he's running around in a higher gear, which is what I did, just so you don't probably use the tyres as much. You know, just hold at that speed, don't put any load on so they don't wear excessively. But yeah, no, he's definitely going to be an interesting sprint to the finish here, but very unfortunate for Spud and Roses. I don't think that's what Spud really would have wanted with 15 laps to go.
No, Spud has really had a torrid time here today. He's really struggled to get a handle on this car, and it's not an easy one to control, especially around a track like this. And I think, given how much he's struggled around Bathurst here this week, or probably the last fortnight even, he might be very glad that there's no Nürburgring 24-hour circuit on the calendar this year as well with these cars.
I can tell you that I'm happy that there's no 24-hour Nürburgring.
By the sounds of things, that might have been around that you tried to convince either Matt or myself to drive the car for that week.
Maybe, but yeah. I probably would have asked, John or Matt to, you want to race it, because I'm actually a little bit off the pace around the 24-hour. I don't like the track, but I'll race it if I have to. But yeah, I think I got a bit of deja vu with that track. I know that Brandosa does too. So I think, yeah, as I said, I'm pretty happy there, and I'm performing well so far this year, and I think a lot of the other drivers are exceeding their expectations. Ooh, Brando's jumped into the pits here. He's copped a bit of damage. That's probably not ideal of what he wants, so he'll drop to the back of the train here. He'll come out.
Yeah, because I believe he'd already pitted anyway, so must have been contact between him and Duran.
Yeah, either that or the Dirty Airs punched him into the wall. I'm not really sure what's happened there, but seems like these drivers need to hit up their tyre manufacturers and say, your tyres didn't have enough grip, give me some better ones. So yeah, it's a bit interesting with that one. Disward's here in 7th as well. Patrick's up to 6th. Loudy's up to 5th. And Viper, Speedy, Wiseacre and Matt. So, it's hard to play with what would be 13 laps to go at the end of this lap. So, I'm very curious on what to see, what will happen here. But my driver of the day so far definitely goes to Wiseacre, or driver of the last stint definitely goes to Wiseacre. He's putting in the laps, he hasn't really made any mistakes, and it's definitely paying off for him.
Yeah, I'd certainly side with you there. It's been a incredible performance there from him. Maybe not one of the more fancy drivers, but he's certainly known what he's capable of and driven within himself. And as a result, it's getting him into the pointy end in these last 10-15 laps of the race, and that's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think, some people might say, he doesn't really tend to be up there very often and stuff like that, but, credit's given where credit's due, and, he wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't putting in a solid performance. So, we know what Matt's capable of, we know what Speedy's capable of, Viper, even Loudy as well, second driver of the day definitely goes to Loudy, but hard charger award definitely goes to Patrick. He's punching in some times that I haven't seen him punch in so far.
Yeah, he's definitely come on leaps and bounds this season. You would have expected that Spud would be your lead driver from the MSR crew this year, but it's been Patrick that led the way for the team.
I believe he's above Spud in the standing as well.
I believe you're correct in that one. I do have them right next to me.
He is. He's 6
That's
points. He's no, not 6 points. Sorry, 15 points ahead of Spud. So, yeah, that's surprising. You know, maybe Spud's kind of finally made his match. You know, maybe them two together are you know, drivers that he wants to see up the pointy end and what he wants to get out of his car. But the other thing as well is we've got to bring in the teams championship too. So at the moment we've got Mash Spuds on 3007, and then we've got It's Racing on 3004. So, you know, it's very close up the pointy end, but, you know, blink your eye and you've got CP behind you at 2904. So there's only 103 points separating the top three in the Manufacturers Championship.
Yes, it's very close and definitely nowhere near over. Certainly those three teams are very much in contention. All it takes is a few 1-2 results from another team and they can push themselves well up the order towards the front. But we just see that the safety car is going to be in this lap. So that'll give us 12 laps to go in the Bathurst 1000. So about another 7 laps where safety cars can be a possibility. And then after that point, it's a straight up fight to the finish. If you take engine damage, your day is pretty well done from there.
Falling asleep yet, Brian, or are you just still chilling there, just watching what's going on?
I'm just chilling, letting you guys talk.
Thought you fell asleep there, mate. I did see you bring a pillow into the combox.
Nah, racing's been too good for a pillow.
chuck the pillow in the safety car, mate, and have a seat in that one, or have a sleep in that.
I don't think he has that much confidence in Venti's driving.
The life insurance isn't up to date.
Well, after the TS3, I think look, you know, he's put the car in the wall by himself once this weekend in the safety car, so he's definitely learning on how to control the safety car, and not only that, his TS3 car as well. So, you know, his driving is getting better, which is very good to see, and having him around the main drivers as well. You know, would you say that Venti's, you know, main series eligible, considering he's probably led the majority of the amount of laps this year than what every other driver has?
I still don't think he's had a top 10 result, but let's turn our attention back into the race here. Mint Matt leading the field down into the Murray's corner. He'll come across the line and it'll be 11 laps to go. Fingers crossed this might be the final restart. So it's Mint Matt from PLE Wiseacre, Speedy Tyres in third and Viper Z in fourth. And then Loudy Dark Mist in fifth for Robo Sport Racing. Brady McForehead or Patrick makes a move down the inside of Loudy Dark Mist and he gets himself up into the top 5. So a great restart there from Patrick. Taking full advantage of Loudy Dark Mist, who's been caught napping a little bit. And now Diswood is on the back of Loudy Dark Mist looking to make a move. Just fakes to the left maybe to try and psych Loudy Dark Mist out, but nothing really happening there. A bit of contact there between Speedy and Wiseacre. Wiseacre really holding up these two satellite racing cars and holding on for position 2 as much as he possibly can, and maybe frustrating the satellite racing duo here in these closing stages, and it allows Patrick to close back up on the back of him. And of course bringing Diswood 1 into the situation as well, and Loudy Dark Mist. I kind of skipped over his name by accident there. So apologies to Loudy, but definitely not forgetting about you in this battle.
Yeah, this is an outstanding battle here, but I think if I was Matt, you know, I'd be pretty happy that that happened, but I think there was a lot of lag that happened there, because on our screen it looked like Speedy sent Wiseacre essentially over the fence, and then he's got, you know, no car has damage, so I think there was a lot of lag that contributed into that. But yeah, it's good that no cars came out of there with damage, because that would have really annoyed. Oh, safety car here, who's got the engine damage? Spud again! Wow, Spud's really not liking this car in that dirty air.
Yeah, so Spud Very much giving Lurox a run for his money in the engine stakes today. And another safety car coming out, and as we say that, Lurox is in the pit lane as well.
Yeah, he's...
With damage of his own, just not an engine. All those workers in Yokohama will be breathing a sigh of relief there. So we're now down 11 laps to go. Actually, I think I messed up and said that it was 11 laps a lap ago, so apologies for my maths being off in this case.
You pulled at me.
Yeah.
It's always bad.
Gave him one more lap or one less lap.
No,
Maybe I'm evening things up a bit.
I was going to say you're evening things up considering I gave him an extra one in Stint 1. But yeah, so, you know, I guess... sorry, it was Stint 2. But yeah, I think essentially it could be really anyone's game here at the moment. But I think if you were Matt, you kind of say, well, thanks Wiseacre for being in between. You know, it kind of gives me a bit of breathing room, because I don't think Wiseacre has, well, you know, the pace that Matt has, and you can see that by his times. You know, he's done a 46, 48, 45, 45, but it's just been consistent really, and I guess, as I said, that's why he's up the pointy end. But you know, I wonder if Wiseacre's thinking, that's the 95, am I going to play front runner for that one and try and hold these boys up? But you know, anything's possible there with Wiseacre. I don't think anyone can think what Wiseacre thinks or anything like that. But yeah, he's definitely on for a podium here, and he's sticking to it, I think, too.
Yeah, that might be something to consider as well, is that maybe given where they've been all race, that sitting in second spot, Wiseacre might just go, well, hang on, I'm doing pretty well here. It's not every day of the, well, not every year that you get the opportunity to finish in the top 3 at Bathurst, so maybe just go with what I have. Try not to push yourself too much trying to chase the victory, but second place can still be a pretty strong effort, and maybe try and fight off those 2 cars behind him that'll be eagerly trying to get ahead and maybe make a challenge on Mint Matt late in this race.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the ones there, because Matt's got a bit more fuel than what Speedy and Viper do, so that may work in their favour. But Viper's got really the freshest out of the 3 of those guys. But go back a bit further and you got Gavans, Brando, Duram all on what looks to be fresher tyres. So safety car should be in at the end of this lap. My assumption would be that. But yeah, I think what it is. Yes, Captain Risky, the lag is mental. We can't really kind of help there. I think, is that on just Wiseacre's end? But GT7 kind of really doesn't help at all in that regard.
So safety car will be in this lap. It'll be Mint Matt that's leading the way from PLE Wiseacre. And then it's Speedy Tyres and Viper's Ed. And then I believe it's, might be Loudy Dark Mist, no, Patrick in 5th. Diswood, then Loudy Dark Mist in 7th.
And then Gabans as well, he's on for a top 8. He's on for a top 10 finish here, so that's a nice recovery drive there from the 55.
Yeah, good effort there after the earlier penalties in that race. And then we have Brandosa in 9th, Duram in 10th. Maybe not quite the performance as those 2 CP Motorsports and its racing cars were hoping for. And then Rose is sitting just outside the top 10, Aussie Hypnotic as well in 12th, the pair of WRT Motorsport cars. And we have Lurox in 13th and N-Spud in 14th. Could probably call them the Super Engine Smash Brothers at the moment.
Definitely, but I don't know if Spud is ideally wanting to be here with 9 laps to go down the back tail end of the field in, you know, essentially dead last. So that's not a nice points haul, considering, you know, position 1 to would be 4 are up the pointy end. So I don't think that's really what he wants in regards to a championship state of things.
Yes, certainly not an ideal points day. 9 laps to recover things as much as possible, maybe get himself inside top 10. Safety car heading the pit lane. Mint Matt taking control of the field here at the chase. And it's up to him when he decides to go, and he's going to go before Murray's corner. So I think he's going to try and get the advantage over Wiseacre out of his final corner as much as possible. Try and build as much of a gap on the start, and I think Wiseacre's gone with him and maybe caught the satellite boys napping a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap there to the Speedy tyres, so Wiseacre earning himself a nice little buffer here on the restart. Maybe taking a little bit of the pressure off, and Matt will be enjoying that as well because that allows him to run away a bit. Patrick and Vipers Head side by side into Griffiths Bend. Who's going to come out in front? And I think Patrick's ended up into the wall there. He's got a bit damaged by the looks of things.
Yeah, he went around the outside of there of Vipers Head and got that dirty air and marbles there and put it in the wall, which is ideally not what he wants. With 8 laps to go coming into the end of this one.
I can see now it's showing a little bit clearer that the damage is flashing on the 7th place car of Patrick. Diswood now into the top 5 due to that. Speedy Tyres is dropping down the order.
He's got engine damage there.
He's got engine damage.
Wow.
So the defense from Speedy Tyres is now taking a hit. What was looking like a battle for possibly to win and definitely a podium is now seen Speedy Tyres drop back to the 14th and final place in the race. And there's only 9 laps to go, about to be 8 laps to go, so that's going to be a very tall mountain to climb. The one that they're racing on's big enough as it is, but I think that this mountain's going to be even bigger for Speedy Tyres to overcome.
I wouldn't
I
count
don't know
him
if
out at all.
It would be a miraculous performance if he did come back to win from here, but definitely not counting him out, but saying the odds are very slim.
They might be very slim, but after seeing and experiencing what he can do in such a short amount of time with some fresh rubber, because my assumption, they're still under safety cars, so he'd whip some new rubber on, which is what Raddy's done. Sorry, Patrick. He's going to be on a charge through that field, and I would be worried if I was in that mid-pack there, so definitely he's going to have Speedy right behind him, but that's a massive hit there for Speedy, so I'm not too sure what happened, obviously because we don't have the replay option, but I think maybe the dirty air kind of got to him a bit. I'm not overly sure, but you know, we've all said that the dirty air is not ideal, but you know, maybe he's leaving it up to Viper, you know, take it to Matt or take it to Wiseacre and see what he can do, but Wiseacre is still sitting in second, so he's just that's just outstanding from him. You know, definite underdog of the day for sure. Which personally, I would kind of never really have seen the number 13 up there, sitting up in the pointy end of the field.
Yeah, great performance there from that number 13 Intercontinental Esports Racing Group, Lexus. Of course, we're down to 8 laps to go here. And it will be a big question of whether Wiseacre can hold on for a podium position, possibly even challenge for a win, who knows. As you say, anything is possible. And yeah, just touching on Speedy Tyres, I know it's definitely not impossible, but I think the Monopoly bet bookies would be giving some really good odds there on Speedy Tyres to win the race. So if you think he can do it, I'd definitely be jumping on those odds at the moment.
Pat's going absolutely ham trying to get those tyres up to temperature. He's done it, especially in the wet with that. But yeah, maybe I think the internet as well, the lag is kind of coming in as well with passing Wiseacre. But if you get a run on him, you know, you can pass him, there's no issue. And he's not really an over-aggressive driver, so he won't kind of really challenge you. But I think no one's really kind of been in that mark there to try and pass him. You know, I've had my fair share of run-ins with Wiseacre, but you know, the places to pass him would be obviously down the straight, but it just depends if you're fast enough or not fast enough. Sorry, you've got the run on him because you know you can make it stick just like what everyone's done. But you know, his internet is better than what it was previously. Before, it was just absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, previously he would have been everywhere between Lithgow and Orange by now, so it's good that he's remained on the racetrack.
I think he would have ended up back in Penrith, mate. That's how bad his lag used to be.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah, like as much crap we give, you know, Wiseacre, all that kind of stuff, but you know, he's tried to fix it and he's kind of getting a little bit better. But I think, you know, after this, you know, we may need to let him have another look at his internet. So we'll suss it out for the 1500. But until then, we've got looks to be 6 laps to go at the moment with this. So this will be the final safety car. No more safety cars after this. So when the safety car comes in, as it has been, it's a 5-lap sprint to the finish.
I think there might be one more lap as a possibility, but I'd like to hope that they at least get through 1 lap before needing a safety car. We're definitely geared up for an exciting final 5 laps. Mint Matt leading the way from Wiseacre at Viper's Head. Defending Bathurst champion and our defending series champion Diswood sitting in 4th. And then we've got Loudy Dark Mist in 5th, Brandosa in 6th. He's a previous winner of the Bathurst 1000 as well. And then I believe, is that Gabans in 7th? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Then Jerem 50 in 8th. Rose is in 9th and Aussie Hypnotic in 10th. So a pair of top 10s for the WRT squad at this stage. Although there's still 5 laps of racing for them to hold on. And then there's a pair of Ashbuds racing cars outside the top 10. Lurox 22 and Speedy Tyres as well. And it looks like we're back underway racing. No, they're just closing up a bit now. Matt gets on the gas before the final corner. And Wiseacre really close behind. Viper's Head getting a really bad run there. Now, what's happened there to... Did Loudy Dark Mist gain a position there
He
before the start-finish line?
He did. He passed before the control line, which is why Diswood backed off. So they know that they can't pass until the control line, which is, you know, what the standard ruling is for everything. So
I just want to go... engine damage again. How is that possible? Are they going to... No, they are going to call a safety car here.
Safety car's out.
Safety
It's
cars.
probably the last possible lap that you could call on. I do not know how Lurox has managed that.
I have no idea either, but you know, what do you do? But Speedy's on a charge here. He's up to 11th, so far he's made up a couple of positions there, same as Spud. So I think Spud was 11th on that restart, but you know, I'm not too sure. But I think Loudy will need to redress that to Woodsy, which is what I'll do.
Yeah, that all started when Viper's Egg got off the edge of the racetrack on that last corner. On
Yeah.
that restarts.
Yeah, that was that dirty air there from him. But you know, the old thing of situational awareness. You know, Woodsy backed off and Loudy just sent it up the outside past Woodsy and nearly got past Viper too. So you know, we kind of got to redress that, and he's done that too. So we'll rule on that one. But if not, we have done a post-race penalty, but we're able to sort it now. So that's good. But yeah, so we're gonna have a what looks to be 4-lap sprint to the end. Wow, who would have thought? But it's starting to get a bit dusk here too, so it's starting to run a bit overtime as well, as we've just gone 5:32 local time, but 4 minutes, 5 minutes roughly to go. Hopefully the lights don't come on and it won't be dark, but we'll definitely wait and see what happens here. But that sun, that's blaring over the top, so.
It's certainly into the evening time of the day here. Thankfully, we didn't go with evening because I think it would be dark by now.
Yeah, I think we'd be running into a Bathurst 12 hour at that point. We'd be at the start time.
So did I see that the safety car was coming in this lap?
I didn't see. No, you should be coming.
No.
I think we won't burn another lap. I will safety car. So we're going to have a 4-lap sprint to the end. Bring it on, boys.
So 4 laps left to go. Mint Matt leading the way from Wiseacre and Viper Z. Wiseacre was looking a bit more racy on that last restart. Maybe he's sensing that he does have half an opportunity here and is trying to push Mint Matt as much as possible. Let's see what Mint Matt can come up with this time around. As we're currently at 5 laps to go, Mint Matt will bring him around to what will be the final restart, and it'll be 4 laps to go. Strap yourselves in, everyone. This should be a thrilling final 4 laps to decide our Bathurst 1000 winner for 2022. Mint Matt getting on the accelerator, gets a great jump there on Wiseacre and will lead the field into turn 1. Viper Z right on the tail of Wiseacre, trying to find a way around, maybe get himself into this race, with Diswood just slightly behind as well. Viper Z going for the outside move, heading into Griffiths Bend. What will he manage to do? Not quite enough to get that move done. So Wiseacre holding on to second place here. And Mint Matt stretching out his advantage into the lead. A bit of a wide approach there from Viper Z. Maybe opening the door to Diswood, who will be sensing a podium here. Viper Z heading through the grate, trying to hold on to position 3, and a bit of a gap forming between himself and Wiseacre as they head down the mountain for the 4th to last time in this race. Viper Z, I think, might be getting a bit frustrated from what would potentially be some lag from Wiseacre that's been reported from the competitors so far. And just a little bit of a gap between Viper Z and Diswood now, so Diswood, maybe his charge towards a podium might not come to full fruition.
Bit of there from Wiseacre down the straight too, so that's not essentially allowed either. So might have to look at that one too, because you're only allowed to change positions once, so we might have to do a bit of post-race on that one. But yeah, he's definitely had Woodsy come back in into that there, but yeah, it seems that Wiseacre's got that car tuned up pretty well down the straight, but Vipers just can't seem to get a run on what would be Wiseacre. That's put him under pressure from Diswood. But Loudy's on for a top 5 here too, so that's definitely a solid job. But he's got Brando breathing down his neck. But where's the drivers we need to look out for? Raddy, so he's 8.5 seconds off the lead, but Gabans and Jerram are currently fighting for position here, going into turn 2.
So they're both run wide. Jerram's in the fence there. That's allowed Patrick to come through, and I think he'll take position 7. And that's put Speedy Tyres into the top 10. So Speedy Tyres in the top 10 now, looking for a way to advance his position, maybe score some good points. Aussie Hypnotic at the back, and Spud in 13th. And Duram obviously copping a lot of damage there in that incident. Want to head back towards the front a bit more. Let's see what's going on there. So Viper's had got himself a bit of a gap over Diswood. Not sure whether Diswood's holding back for a last lap charge or whether he just doesn't have the pace to run with these guys. Meanwhile, Mint Matt, is that out over a 2-second lead now?
Yeah, 2.1.
And I get, yep, 2.1, so I am definitely reading that right. So nice little gap there from Mint Matt. Loudy Darkness and Brando side by side into the chase. What a move there from Loudy Darkness to hold on. Although Brandos is going to try and come back at him into Murray's corner. Some aggressive defending there from Darkness, and pretty well parks it on the apex to compromise Brandos's exit out of that corner. Very much preventing the switchback from taking place. So Darkness was eager for a top 5 result, but now he's just lit up the tyres on the exit of Hell Corner, and that's just given Brandosa the opportunity he needs to jump into that top 5 spot. And he'll be very thankful that Loudy Darkness made that mistake, as Patrick is coming up very quickly and he's eager for his own top 5 spot. So Brandosa will be trying to clear out as quickly as possible. We head back to the leaders. 2 laps to go in this race. Wiseacre still holding down second place from Viper's Head. Diswood just outside the podium spots in third.
Just really close that gap through the S's there. I think Wiseacre had a pretty compromised run there coming into the S's. I'm not too sure if that lag will affect the slipstream as such, but yeah, Wiseacre really needs to watch out of the moving down the straight. You know, obviously we know that you're only allowed to move once. So you can see him swerving left and right here. He's gone from left to right, back to the middle, back to the left. So that's not really ideal, but Viper's Head gets a run. He gets a run, goes deep under brakes here. Wiseacre, you can't pull that up there, no way.
He was never gonna
No chance.
keep that.
But Viper's Head gets the job done. So Viper's Head up into position 2. Is that about a 2.2 second gap, or is it a bit bigger than that?
2.9. So Matt's got a 2.9
2.9
second lap on lap 161.
Last lap through Hell Corner goes Mint Matt in the lead, basically just about where everyone expected him to be. Viper's Head in second. PLE Wiseacre still rounding out the podium for the ISA team, with Diswood right in behind him as we reach the end of Mountain Straight, and Diswood to the outside on Wiseacre, side by side through turn 2 on the last lap. Diswood gets it sideways.
Wiseacre's got damage. Wiseacre has some front aero damage, so that's going to compromise him down the straight. So this may drop him back to P4 here. So I think Woodsy just needs to hang behind him, let him go and get a run on Wiseacre down the straight, because that's definitely what he'd really need.
And Wiseacre looks like he got into a wall there.
I think that's
Don't
just
know
his
if
lag.
that's further compounded things, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say it probably is the lag more than anything.
So yeah, I think
But I think
Woodsy
the
just
best
needs to hang.
opportunity for Woods is the Conrod Straight. So the battle is on for the final podium spot.
Very Forest
And
elbow.
Very wide approach there from Wiseacre, trying to get as much speed as possible. I think he's going to be a sitting duck down this straight. And Diswood perfectly fakes out Wiseacre there. Jinks left and then shoots right. He's got that final podium spot, but let's head to the front. It's going to be a redemption day for Mint Matt. After falling short last year in last year's Bathurst 1000, he rounds Murray's corner for the final time, and it's going to be Mint Matt and disappointed for It's Racing Esports taking the Bathurst 1000 victory in 2022. Viper's Head crossing the line second with Captain Risky, and Diswood and Lunacy crossing the line in third for the final podium spot, and a gallant effort there from PLE Wiseacre to take that free driver team with himself, Broccolilly and Devlin Calypso into 4th place. A top 5 result for EBM Brandosa and John 27 in honour of his father, who sadly passed away recently. A top 5 result will be very much welcome from that crew. And then it's Ratty McForehead and Xylon 96 in 6th place. Cloudy, Dark Mist and Slapper's Mate in 7th. Then Speedy Tyres and Captain Risky in 8th position. Not the defence he was hoping for, but very much a contender throughout the race. And then the recovery from Gabans, Sir Slayer and Morgan Davey after that early race penalty gets them back into the top 10. And Enspud recovered for a top 10 as well after all of his issues throughout the day. And then the rest of the results, we've got Lurox in 11th, Aussie Hypnotic in 12th, Duram 50 in 13th, and TTV Bite the Roses rounding out our field in the Trackstars Bathurst 1000. But again, big congratulations, Mint Matt, and also to yourself, Disappointed. Bathurst 1000 champions for 2022. Congratulations.
Thank you, good sir. I was definitely on edge for this one. I wasn't confident up until what was essentially last night with the running that we did, but you know, I did a couple of suspension tweaks and it made it a lot better. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, I've only done, you know, 30% of the work there. Matt's done a lot of the rest, and he's just, you know, he's a man of his word, and he knows what he has to do, and he made his mark and he ran to his number. But not only that, you know, Viper Z as well, partnering with Ridwan, so that's a solid partnership there for Ridwan and Satellite. But yeah, I think, you know, I finished P1 in my first stint, he got first in his one, and then I got a recovery drive from third. So, you know, solid job from, you know, both of us as well as everyone on the field as well. You know, not having any massive incidents or anything like that, as well as, you know, the stewards and everyone on behind the scenes, team managers, drivers, everyone else. So yeah, top job as well. And you know, award of the stint definitely goes to Wiseacre here. Hard charger goes to Ratty McForehead. You know, unfortunately, yeah, I guess you can't really do much there. But yeah, you know, we've done a solid job, and I guess the performances has paid off.
So there we have it. A very, very long race there. And it's a bit hard to sum things up. A lot of controversy throughout the race as well. And yeah, it's been a long day for everyone involved. And hopefully everyone can kick back and maybe enjoy themselves a bit after a great effort from all teams to get through that race. Just going to say, Brian, do you have any thoughts on today's events?
Definitely exciting. Like, there's not a lot of words I can really put in, but it was exciting. Realistically, you didn't know who the win was going to go to until the very end. Like, you know, Matt's always going to be tough, but when you got guys like Speedy and you got guys like Viper Z right in the battle, you know it's not a foregone conclusion. That's one of the beautiful things about this series is every race there is multiple guys who can win. It isn't going to be, oh yeah, this guy's just going to come and blow everyone out of the water. quality of the drivers is absolutely spectacular. And as we know, DJ's one very happy fella right about now.
I am, I didn't get the glory of winning an enduro, and last year closest I got was second. So it's definitely an overwhelming feeling, but there's not much I can really thank. It's co-drivers. Matt knew what he wanted to do, and he definitely did it. But it's solid job there, by both of us and every team there. Every team's done well, especially everyone on that field. It's been a long week for everyone, and thank God we've got another week and a half to to do what we can do, basically. But I don't know if Matt's gonna come in here. I'll ask him. So just wait and see if Matt wants to jump in. But yeah, until then, we do thank everyone. I'll just go be back very shortly to see if he does want to jump in, and we'll be back very shortly. Alright, and in saying that, we have Mr. Matt Simmons, Mr. Mint Matt. Well done, mate. Good job. That was a solid end stint there from you.
Well, you don't sound very, very excited. What's going on?
Mate, I'm overwhelmed.
We just did it.
Incredible.
We just did it, mate.
Solid job there. Solid job.
Honestly, that whole last stint was just... You had no idea where you're going to be because of strategy. So I was just like, I'll play it to my... I don't know, just play it on timing. And then those last few restarts, it was every single one I was getting more and more nervous. and each time I was getting less and less tire temp. So, yeah. Fair play, to everyone for today, but also that last stint, that was difficult to just try and get a rhythm going because there was so many safety cars. But big condolences to Speedy. Speedy was absolutely flying. I don't know what happened. I just heard in the chat there was a big crash happening, so I feel for him. He had some mega pace and was definitely a contender. So, but yeah, so stoked we got it done after last year. So proud of the team, proud of you, DJ, and everything done today. except for since three, you went a little bit crazy, but well done on the recovery to P3. So you got me in a good position for the last one. So well done.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I don't think it's really sunk in yet. It's quite a big one. So very
Yeah.
happy. Well done to Liam and Diswood, of course, in P2 and P3. It was hard fought, and Wiseacre as well. He was right up there at the end. One of the restarts, he almost got me. So, yeah, it was really close. So it was good fun.
Yeah, well, that first stint, I was under so much pressure there. I nearly, I nearly caked it, and I nearly absolutely butchered it, but it paid off in the end. Got you in where you needed to be for stint 2, and we just got to work and did our thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So,
solid
yeah.
solid job there from everyone, and I think it's a bit unfortunate as well for Ratty. He got a bit of unfortunate luck there, copping a bit of damage at the end. But yeah, he had some mega pace.
Yeah, he was fantastic on a couple that midway through that little stint there, and we had some decent laps there. He was holding me off quite comfortably, like he was racing really well. So, yeah, as I said, everyone drove really well for how long that stint was. And as we all know, this was a pretty tough combo, I think, with the regs. So we all knew that we were going to probably be a bit of a safety car fest. So I'm just stoked that my strategy worked out to be able to get up to the front and then just kind of manage the restarts from there. But yeah, the last couple of laps was very tense. So yeah, I think we got it over the line. I'm sure you're feeling it too, mate. But yeah, stoked for the outcome. Well done.
Yeah, top job, mate, and it was definitely deserved. But until then, we finally did it. It's been a long 161 laps, and a long day for everyone. But yeah, a big ups to everyone, and big ups to you. But until then, I think we try and take it to the likes of Woodsy and try and take the 3-peat at St. Croix. But anything's possible there. That's a 1500k race, so we'll wait and see what happens with that one.
Yeah, 100%. Long way to go, and I know everyone's going to be keen to we got a target on our back now to not to get the 3-peat. So, no, we all know everyone will go hard for the last one. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. But until then, we thank everyone for joining in. It's been a long day for everyone, and thank you for joining in. And catch us in 2 weeks' time for the St. Croix 1500. Back here on Trackstars. Like, subscribe, and put your notifications